Welcome back to the Movie Draft House. I'm your host, Mark, joined by co-host Jeff.
Hey, Mark, what's happening?
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good. Are you enjoying the college tournament that is or may not be happening at this current moment?
Are you enjoying the tournament of basketball?
Yeah, like who do you got? Who are you taking? As of right now, we know that Duke and North Carolina both have basketball teams.
That's what we do know.
So I'm going to take one of those teams that has a basketball team from North Carolina.
Okay, I'll take Virginia.
There you go. You heard it here first.
They too have a basketball team.
Because we are recording this when the tournament is definitely happening. It's March Madness, everyone. But before we do that...
That's right. We got to plug some music here on the podcast. And this month, music is brought to you by the New York City band No Shows. And they bill themselves as alt instrumentalist. And the song is called Getaway. So be sure to hit the show notes to get all the links to their social media accounts. They're doing big things. Give them a like, follow, and a subscribe. We appreciate them allowing us to use their music here on our podcast. Jeff.
What up, Mark?
Before we get into it.
Okay, all right.
Did I hit the theme?
Oh, we're going to start off with that. So
before we say what we watched, did I hit the theme?
What I was going to say, as I was watching this film, was, you know what? It's not worth arguing. So, yes, you hit the
broke
theme.
you. I broke
I think
you.
anyone would have to admit that basketball is synonymous with this film.
Yeah, okay.
It's not like watching a basketball team and all that other stuff, but it doesn't have to be. So, sure, yes, you hit the theme, Mark. Congratulations.
Nice.
No one is cheering. You did the bare minimum.
Anyways, what the fuck did we just watch?
Well, it is March Madness month, so we're doing all basketball movies, hence the theme that Mark has hit for once in his career on the Movie Draft House. So we watched Air from 2023, starring and directed by Ben Affleck, as well as Matt Damon, Viola Davis, Jason Bateman, and Chris Tucker. It's nominated for things.
It didn't get any Oscar nominations, but this came out early in 2023, and so it missed. It did get nominated for Golden Globe, a couple Golden Globes, but it came out too early, I think, to be serious awards Oscar contenders. But so I'm a big Ben Affleck director fan. He's a very talented filmmaker. I don't care for him much as an actor, but when it comes to making movies, he's really good. And I think if you go through his filmography as a director
chronologically,
you should. Honestly,
that is not a bad idea.
It's because he has a lot of
a short season, to be honest.
Right, but I mean, if you go through it, he has hit. I mean, hit after hit. I mean, one of his most recent films was a Best Picture winner, Argo. But I just
and the town's really good. I like the town.
The town is good.
He directed a short called "I Killed My Lesbian Wife, Hung Her on a Meat Hook, and Now I Have Three." Hold on. Now I have a 3-picture deal at Disney. That's the name of a short that Ben Affleck directed, and I am not joking.
That is awesome. But I mean, like, I haven't seen Live by Night, but that seems according to IMDb. Well, I haven't seen Gimme Shelter either, but
that's a music video.
Oh, is it?
It says video next to it, so I'm guessing it's a music video. And Gimme Shelter is, Gimme Shelter shows the work that the UNHCR is doing to fulfill the mandate of protecting and supporting refugees around the globe in an illustrative example. So I don't think that's...
Might be like a short documentary.
Yeah.
But like he is what I would consider like an every 5-6 year director, and when he makes a movie, he makes a good movie.
Let's run it down. All right. So his first movie is '07. 3 years later, we got The Town. His 2010. 2012, we got Argo. 16, Live by Night. And then he had a huge gap to 2023 for Air.
Well, I think the big gap was because he had originally signed on to direct a Batman film.
Oh, that's when the whole Batman shenanigans was going down, huh? Yeah.
And I think he got as far as like writing a screenplay for it, and then WB pivoted and kind of just like was like, fuck off, Ben Affleck.
It wasn't his fault that whole thing sucked.
No, but I think he had
Snyder
kind of
had
demands.
more to do with the crappiness of it than anything.
Sure. But Ben Affleck is on. I think he's on record. I'm gonna talk out my ass here for a minute.
Yes. I love it when he does this.
Like Ace Ventura. But he's on record as saying that he was only going to make a certain type of Batman film. It was going to be in the kind of same vein as Zack Snyder's universe, but it was going to be ultra gritty. Like, think The Town meets Batman. That's what I would imagine.
That could be interesting.
And,
I could see Batman in the same realm as The Town. Could be interesting.
Sure. But he was going to play Batman, and WB was, I guess, just like, no, we have to keep continuity, because at the time they were trying to get this DCEU all over the place, and so by the time he was bounced from, or he just kind of just like threw his shit up in the air and was like, I'm out.
Just like a monkey, just throwing shit up in the air.
Right.
That's what you said. I didn't say that.
I mean, yeah. But no, I mean, so that the gap between 2016 and 2023 is for that reason. And
also the
pandemic.
I don't.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. Even though I don't know how long Air was in development, and how long he had been working on, because I don't think he wrote the screenplay.
No, it was Alex Convery. Contrary.
Yeah.
He's very contrary.
So as a filmmaker, Ben Affleck is he's one of my favorite directors, is because he's just got this knack for telling good stories in settings that you wouldn't think would provide the good stories, and so like Argo was a masterclass in storytelling. You've seen that, right?
Nope.
Oh shit!
This is where we go. What? Oh, we got to put it. Yeah. Listen, how, like, I don't have to say, movie. Hey, this movie came out in the '80s. Did you see it?
Yeah, right.
You just do the same for me, but like with 2010 and after.
Got you. So let me ask you this.
Yes.
What are your overall thoughts on Air here?
So I am what the kids call a Michael Jordan hater. A self-admitted hater. I don't like him. I don't like the Bulls back then. Now I'm fine with them.
Fuck the Bulls.
Bulls
suck today.
Well, I don't know. I stopped paying attention when the Sonics no longer appeared. I'm a big Seattle Supersonics fan, and then they disappeared when they moved to Oklahoma City, and I stopped watching basketball. But I watched it long enough to really hate Michael Jordan, and it's not really any fault of his. It's more his fans and the fact that they jump ship when he, like, oh, we're all Michael Jordan fans. They talk a bunch of shit. Yeah, here I am, a lifelong Seattle fan. And when the Bulls started sucking, I'm like, haha, they suck. Well, we're not Bulls fans anymore. We're Lakers fans. Well, then fuck you. You don't get to talk shit at that point. And so I hate Michael Jordan for these reasons. Again, not really his fault, but I do kind of cringe at Michael Jordan worship. That being
This this movie is a lot of Michael Jordan worship.
yes, especially near the end. The first hour, I would say, is pretty fun. Like there's no major like Michael suck your dick, man. That's later in the film. Especially as you get closer to the end. It's like, oh, he's going to save us all. It's this weird thing. He's a basketball player. And they're like, he became the greatest basketball player of all time. That sort of shit's arguable to me because...
Is it?
To me, because what position did he play? He was a guard, right? And what about
guard.
Shaq? What about Walt? What about Wilt Chamberlain? These people that play in different positions... They have different, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, no,
I
get what you're
Shaq
saying.
was a thing because Shaq was so damn unstoppable that they just had to foul him because they couldn't handle him anyway. So are you going to say one's better than the other? I have a hard time with that. Like in the NFL, you never see that, right? You say, Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time. But you can't compare Tom Brady to Barry Sanders. Right? And that's
True.
all I'm saying. But I'm, of course, biased and will never admit that he's the best player of all time. And that's as honest as I'm going to be about Michael Jordan, is that I'm biased against him.
I mean, now I think it's arguable because of LeBron James, but
Is it? And that's the funny
no,
thing.
I do. I think so.
I would say Kobe more than Michael.
Kobe,
to
right?
Me, or not Michael, but LeBron.
I agree. I'm a Lakers fan. We've discussed this, but and Kobe's one of my favorite players of all time. R.I.P. But LeBron just does so much, and the longevity. Like Kobe stopped
LeBron more, mostly because he seems like a reasonable human being and a nice guy. And he's a hell of a
Kobe
better
was
actor,
a straight up asshole.
He does have the worst version of Space Jam. LeBron does. And that accounts for something because that's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. All of that aside, let's set aside my dislike for the man and just look at this movie. It's labeled as a drama sports movie. I found this to be very funny, especially like in the first 3/4 of the film. Really funny movie. Matt Damon's awesome and is playing off of Jason Bateman. Jason Bateman's more of a comedian style actor, I think, than say Matt Damon, but they both play off of each other really well. Of course, Chris Tucker is a huge, sort of comedic acting legend. And so I found that really, because I did not want to watch this. I did not want to watch a movie about shoes. And so
shoes were in it very, very, very little.
Yeah. It's actually kind of more corporate politics, which still doesn't sound that exciting. But the funny nature of the beginning of the film really drug me along. It was really entertaining because I was laughing the whole time. The characters were fun and likable, and I'm a basketball fan, so basketball helps. And at the end of the day, I really enjoyed this story. Then I self-reflect on it. I'm like, if I take the movie as it is, I really like it. But I think about, okay, we're just watching a movie about the sales tactic to get Jordan on. It is an interesting story that they kind of go all in on Jordan. And we, as the viewer in the future, because this takes place in the 80s, we know that Michael Jordan is going to be considered the greatest of all time. And we know what's going to happen with Air Jordans and the Jordan brand shoes.
The ultimate foreshadowing.
That makes it a lot of fun to kind of get to. When I find history I know about, some of the most fun history to kind of relive. And so I found it to be an enjoyable film. I also really like that they chose to not show Michael Jordan's face on camera, the character that they had. I think that was smart, mostly because he's so recognizable that any actor you cast has got a huge uphill battle. And I would compare it to, even though I haven't seen the film yet, I am a wrestling fan, and the movie Iron Claw came out, and people were shitting on the guy who played Ric Flair, because Ric Flair is so well known, and no one can really do people can do impersonations, but no one's going to be able to, just like so, bring that to the screen in a way that people will forget that they're not looking at an actor trying to be Ric Flair. And I think that they casted Damian Delano Young as Michael Jordan, but you only see the back of his head. You hear his voice a little bit. And I think that was really, really smart to keep us, the viewer, in the movie, to not suspend disbelief, or have to suspend disbelief by seeing someone who clearly wasn't Jordan playing Jordan.
And I also think, Affleck choosing to shoot the movie the way he did, and the screenplay written to where we don't need to know. We don't need to see Michael Jordan.
Right.
And
it adds to the mythos, right?
Yeah. Right. He is this, like, he's the godlike character in this film. And, his name is synonymous with royalty and his shoe and just everything we know about him today. And so I think that was a really smart decision, like you said, to kind of cast the physical appearance of Michael Jordan aside and make the reveal of the shoe. I really enjoyed that. The first shoe that was created for this pitch to the Jordan family. And I enjoyed a lot of the decisions that Ben Affleck made as a director, because, and we gloss over Matt Damon, but this is probably one of his best performances that I've seen him in.
He barely in the movie, but
Matt Damon?
Not Matt Damon. I thought you said Ben Affleck. Sorry.
No.
Yeah, Matt Damon's the main character. Yeah,
right.
He's really good.
But
I gotta say
he's fantastic.
Is they kept calling him fat and like, hey, fat boy. He's Hollywood fat in that he's normal. He is not fat.
He's got a gut. He's got a little gut.
He's in his 40s or whatever. He's got dad bod at the worst. He's not a fat guy, but they shit on him like he's 300 pounds.
Well, I really enjoyed Chris Messina's character as David Falk, Jordan's agent.
Do you think that he was channeling Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder? I think so.
I mean, that could have been inspiration.
Because
it's good. It was witty.
When he finds out that Matt Damon went to the Jordan's house, and that whole chewing him out scene's really funny and great.
I'm gonna chew your ball sack, and
it's right out of literally fuck your own face. Like, you could put those scenes next to each other, and he delivers the same level of energy. He is so pissed, and it's so funny.
Yeah, him and so Chris Messina, he has a handful of scenes, and they're all very good. But probably the most underrated character in the movie is Jason Bateman's character, Rob Strasser, the marketing guy for Nike. It's because he's, in my opinion, he has the most depth. We actually find out, layers to him as the movie goes on, and we find out that he's having trouble, like his wife's divorced him, and he's only sees his daughter like 4 days a month or whatever it was, and he has this conversation with Matt Damon at the Nike headquarters over a weekend, and he spends his birthday. And I really enjoyed Jason Bateman as an actor.
Yeah, me too.
But because he's very good. Like he's very he not undersells, but it's his ability to create emotion where other actors would probably oversell the performance, where he can kind of very just small things he does, either nonverbal or with just very few words, can cause a lot of emotion. And I really enjoyed his scenes, especially with Matt Damon. It's because, like you said, they do play off of each other very well. But I enjoyed his scenes because there was a lot of depth to his character, and it's not a big part. I mean, he's in the movie a little bit more than Chris Messina is.
I think what his character does in the scene you're talking about, where you find out about his kid, is to actually kind of give some stakes to how important this is, because Matt Damon is kind of like a all or nothing situation. Either they land Jordan and everything's great, or they don't and he loses his job. And that's not huge stakes for us as the viewer, but Jason Bateman's character elevates those stakes by his talking about his daughter and how he uses the shoes to kind of make sure he stays in her good graces. And I think that's why that scene is there. More to kind of raise the what they're risking than necessarily even to make the character even have a lot of depth. Because it does I feel like you could take that scene out and the movie's still pretty good. Like, I don't think that it actually adds that much to his character.
It's one of the only scenes that has emotional weight to it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the big monologue by Matt Damon in the pitch room with Jordan that has a lot of emotional charge to it, but like raw emotion, I think
that's Chris Messina's. That's raw emotion. Fuck you. Yeah.
I'm gonna eat your ball sack. That's raw emotion, baby. But no, I really enjoyed the performances in this film. At the as I'm watching it, I'm like, Viola Davis, she's great. She's great in everything she does.
That's true.
She's very understated, but very matter of fact. Carries herself, as she's the matriarch of the Jordan family.
But even she has this strange reverence for her own son. Like,
correct.
When she even is sort of on Matt Damon's side. Like when they said she's the one that kind of convinces him to do the pitch, right? Mama made him do it. And then they get there and she's like, okay, he doesn't really want to be here, but he has agreed to listen. And so she's really trying. She likes Matt Damon. And the thing I like too is like when Matt Damon is essentially pitching to her for them to have a chance to pitch to Michael. He tells her, okay, here's what's going to happen in your other meetings. They're going to say this. I want you to ask this. And, and of course it all plays out like he says, which I think that's probably more fiction than it is reality of what actually happened. But I still like that setup. And then you get to see it and everything. And that Viola Davis really appreciates that forwardness that Matt Damon brings in his character in those scenes, where it feels like they strike up a bit of a friendship.
Yeah, you can see there's a lot of mutual respect between the two of them, and like I didn't know this about Michael Jordan's dad until they like showed the clipping during Damon's monologue, but I didn't realize that he was shot up. He was killed in a gun.
Who was?
His dad. Jordan's dad was killed. Killed in a barrage of gunfire or whatever. And so like, I enjoyed the dynamic of Jordan's parents. Dad was kind of, carefree-esque.
Happy to be there. It felt
Happy
like.
to be there. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good term, because he seemed to be along for the ride. And Mom was just like, hey, this is what we want, and we're not going to settle, and either you give us this or you don't, and we go with somebody else. And I enjoyed that straightforwardness to Viola Davis's character. I like that she didn't, there wasn't enough scenes with her in it to where we could kind of question, what her motives were, or, if she was actually like that. We every scene we got her in, she was the same way every single time. And so I appreciated that, is because that's a big character. She's a small part of this film, but she carries a lot of weight to it. And that's the caliber of actress she is. But also, the writing of the film, where it's like, hey, we meet this character, we understand her in 30 seconds, and then she gives us the same performance throughout the film. And her character serves an actual purpose, unlike some other characters in other films where we're introduced because somebody's playing them, somebody famous and talented, but their character doesn't really serve a purpose. Hers here absolutely does.
Yeah, I agree. I think she is one of the whole honestly, this is sort of an ensemble film. Like, there's just so many actors that you recognize playing all these parts.
And
like Marlon Wayans has a small,
very
brief
one scene, I think.
Yeah. And yet, for that role, they felt they needed to get a name. Like, you could have just thrown someone in there, but they got Marlon Wayans instead. So, I think from top to bottom, the cast and the acting's excellent. I think for me, what is the best part, the most winning part of this, is the screenplay, because it is funny. It is a movie about shoes and corporate dealings, and it has successfully made that entertaining enough that you want to sit down and watch it.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Tucker here, a huge role. Not that many scenes, but a huge part of the story. His character is somebody that played an integral part in helping, seal the deal here. But I hadn't seen him before seeing this. I hadn't seen him since Rush Hour 3.
I feel like he's been in stuff recently other than this, but
I'm looking at his filmography. He did Rush Hour 3 in 2007, Silver Linings Playbook, and I don't even remember him in that movie, in 2012. Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk. Never seen that.
That doesn't sound good.
And then he was in a Tito Jackson music video in 2021. And then Air. So, 2 movies since Rush Hour 3. And, no, I mean, and I assume he had a small part in Silver Linings Playbook. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but couldn't have been a big role. So it's like, and then before that, before Rush Hour 3, he only did Rush Hour 2 in 2001. So he's only been in a handful of movies in over 20 years. So him showing up in such a big role here, it's like, wow, Chris Tucker, where you been, bro? And he's very good.
He had a bowel issue.
It took a little bit, but he pinched it off, and now he's here. But I like, it's something different for him, something, or at least something that I hadn't seen him do, like a serious. I mean, he's kind of comedic here, but more so.
I think the tone of the film really leans on the comedy side for a good portion of the movie.
Yeah, and he is somebody that's he brought the comedic element, but also the kind of everyman. Like, he refers to himself, they used to call me pastor. They call me pastor now, and he carries himself like a black reverend that in my mind, from other things I've seen, very much represents that. And so I thought that it was a good role, it was a good choice for him in this movie, and I wish we got more Chris Tucker. Is because now I know he can like legit act. He's not just comedy relief.
The problem is whether or not you understand the words coming out of his mouth or not.
I don't, but
that's
Jackie Chan does.
Really terrible joke. I apologize. You can edit that out. Thank you very much.
Nope.
Please take it out. It was stupid and dumb.
Welcome to the podcast. I mean, I don't know what else to say about this movie. It is a Michael Jordan puff piece. I know it's not really puff but
piece, but so the story of the shoes and landing Michael Jordan is really interesting. The last 10, 15 minutes or so are so much alike. Michael Jordan is going to be amazing. And, like she talks about, a shoe is just a shoe until someone steps in it, and my baby's going to do amazing things. We all know this in hindsight, that Michael Jordan obviously is undeniably the most famous and influential basketball player of all time. We know that in hindsight. But he gets a lot of worship for playing basketball.
It's kind of interesting that they made that such a big deal, is because he was the third pick of the draft, I think.
Yeah, because Olajuwon was 1, and I can't remember who was 2.
And the movie shows this, but like a majority of the people in Chicago didn't like the pick, and so I just there is a lot of
because they had the guy at the
grocery store.
I did like that, because that's a really good example. When Matt Damon leaves, he's like, everyone knew it all along, sarcastically, because he remembers talking to that guy before and him saying, man, I wish we could have got Olajuwon. Darn it. I don't like this Michael Jordan pick, and I feel bad for I don't know if he's a real player. I think he was Terrapin or whatever, the guy that pretty much got shat on through most of the movie.
Throughout the entire movie.
Not being
fuck that guy.
Good. You like him because he's the 5th pick. Well, yeah.
But he's
I'm
going to be playing in Europe in 3 years.
Or if they made him up just to be nice.
I mean, this movie, in a lot of it, a lot of the dialogue, a lot of the build up to the pitch, reminded me of a heist movie, and how the ensemble gets brought in together. And talk about like Italian Job, or name another heist movie, but the main guy goes. Okay. The main guy goes and recruits everybody and brings everybody together, and then they concoct the plan, and that's when they're talking to the shoe guy, and the shoe guy's, he's got this big brain idea and all this, and they're, he goes to Phil Knight, and he's like, hey Phil, we need you to do this. You're gonna come in like 5 minutes after the meeting starts, and you're gonna blah blah blah. And then the pitch is the heist, and I found myself thinking there was a lot of parallels between a heist movie and this film, even though I didn't really feel the stakes were as great, because like you said, we only got emotional stakes from Jason Bateman's character. I didn't feel anything for Matt Damon's character, because he's just kind of, he's been floating, right? We understood that he had a rough past few years, I guess, and Phil Knight brought him in as kind of a reclamation project, and that was it. And so during this pitch, I'm thinking, okay, I was like, Matt Damon's going all in, but I don't care if he seals it. I care about, like you said, Jason Bateman and these other people. I actually cared more about Ben Affleck's character of Phil Knight, the owner of Nike, and what was going to happen if it didn't, if Jordan chose to go with Adidas or Converse or whatever, and how that would have affected Phil Knight, is because you could see like there was a lot of Ben Affleck did a good job playing this character because he throws a lot of emotion behind Phil Knight, and kind of wavering back and forth of does he trust Matt Damon or does he not, and is just being dumb, and there was some emotional stuff behind his character, but at the end of the day, I thought I liked it because it reminded me of a heist film.
Yeah. So I pulled up the 1984 NBA draft. This is where Michael Jordan was drafted third, Olajuwon first, someone named Sam Bowie second.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Number 4 was Sam Perkins, who's one of my all-time favorite Seattle Supersonics. And then Charles Barkley. I think Sam Perkins is still alive.
No, it's R.I.P. and for your Supersonics.
Oh, yes. I thought you were trying to kill Sam Perkins. How dare you, sir? And then, of course, Charles Barkley at 5, who is a Hall of Famer. Right. 6 was Melvin Turpin. So this is a real guy. So not only did they feel the need to shit on him in this movie, this is from Wikipedia, so you can grain of salt it, but I think this is true. In 1984, Turpin was chosen as the 6th overall pick in the first round by the Washington Bullets in the NBA draft, being immediately traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. That doesn't necessarily mean a sign of bad things. That's kind of normal in the draft.
Yeah.
As a professional, however, he struggled with his weight, and after 6 seasons with the Cavaliers, the Jazz, the CAI Zaragoza, I'm going to have to find out what that is, and the Bullets, he retired. Here's the thing, like, they didn't need to shit on this guy. Earning the derisive nicknames Dinner Del Mel and the Meal Man.
Oh, the Meal Man. That's an awesome nickname, bro.
But they called him that because he ate so much.
That is an awesome
overweight.
fucking name. Like that's like Butterbean, right? The boxer. Just a big guy.
Yeah, but that guy, that was self-imposed, right?
I don't know, but I mean, it's like the Meal Man.
I don't know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so...
hey, we're bringing the facts here on the podcast.
Well, no, we're Googling things and looking Wikipedia up, which I think there are a lot of podcasts that just do that. Turpin, going back to Wikipedia, Turpin was considered one of the biggest busts in draft class history, or in a draft class that included future greats such as Hakeem Olajuwon, Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, and John Stockton. The 2004 Sports Illustrated article, Turpin quipped, "In my day, they thought the big man was supposed to be thin. They didn't know too much. It was medieval." All that to say, they probably shouldn't have been shitting on this guy in this movie. Sadly, Melvin Turpin did pass away in 2010.
Oh, R.I.P. that guy.
Yeah. He was 49, so pretty young.
I mean, so that
again, shitting on a guy who's dead. Ooh, good job, Ben Affleck.
Listen, I've heard Ben Affleck's an asshole, but at least he makes capable movies. Anyway, so you bringing up that draft made me just Google the 2003 NBA draft, which also includes a ton of future NBA Hall of Fame talent.
Is that the LeBron one?
That is the LeBron, Carmelo, Dwayne Wade draft.
Uh-huh.
And so LeBron went number 1. Carmelo went number 3. Chris Bosh, who's
number 2 is Darko Milicic, right?
No, that's what I was getting at. Right.
Oh, my bad. I jumped the gun.
Damn it. But Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade round out the 4th and 5th pick. So you've got 4 potential Hall of Fame players in the first 5.
Melo maybe not so much, but
no, Melo absolutely is a Hall of Famer.
Okay.
Chris Bosh, I don't think is a Hall of Famer, but the Hall of Very Good.
Very
but-
good. Future NBA All-Stars.
But like the Detroit Pistons, who picked number 2 in that draft and picked Darko Milicic. What the fuck?
Yeah. He passed on Dwayne Wade. But
He
you
passed
never
on-
know. You
it's
know,
just
like you think
wild.
you draft that guy and you hope you get Nowitzki, but you don't, you know?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's crazy. That draft was loaded. Anyways.
Yeah. I can confirm that Sam Perkins is still alive.
Oh, okay, good. No RIP for him.
Yeah.
Um,
Love Sam Perkins. He was when he played, he was known as Big Smooth. And so my first ever email account was bigsmooth14@hotmail.com. The 14 was the number that Sam Perkins wore because I loved him so much.
your next email account should be named Mealman42.
I think Dinner Bell Mel was more my favorite. But
Anyways, Joe, do you recommend Air?
I do. It's thoroughly entertaining. I don't like the Jordan worship, but again, that sort of thing turns me off anyway. But if you like Michael Jordan, you'll probably be right up your alley. It'll shoot more of his bullshit up your ass. But other than that, it is really entertaining to watch.
Yeah, it's a witty film. It's a well-crafted film. It's a brisk film. I think it's like an hour 47 or some shit. And
It was 2 hours. What? Hour 51. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, it's
No,
brisk.
it moves. It feels good. It, again, it's fun, so it
Yeah,
doesn't feel long.
right. And it's thoroughly 80s.
Oh yes,
It is
soundtrack.
yeah, everything is thoroughly
The car
80s.
phone when he's like, this car has a phone in it.
I mean,
Love
you've got
that.
the old computers in the background when like Ben Affleck's at his desk and all this.
Yeah, I
the
mean, if you look at the
pager.
picture of Ben Affleck in his tracksuit with his glasses on, I mean, yeah, it's awesomely 80s.
Yeah, and so I think it's a well crafted film. I really do enjoy Ben Affleck, the director, and it's just another
Yeah, this movie
notch in the belt.
reminded me a lot of a Spielberg movie called The Post, where it was about them getting
Yeah.
the green light to go live with this story, and it kind of has a similar feel to it. All the stakes in that were a lot bigger because it was
Oh
like,
yeah,
on
yeah.
a national scale as opposed to this just being basketball. But I do actually appreciate the movie talking about the history of, because a lot of this I didn't know. I didn't know that they couldn't have, that much red on their shoes. They couldn't
Right, yeah.
have that individuality, and they couldn't, players didn't get, residuals from their shoes, that sales, and that Jordan broke that barrier for people. And nowadays, the NBA, that's what the NBA has turned into, is shoe deals and the stardom. And it is the most, I think the players in the NBA are the most well marketed of any sport because of that. And I think that they owed that to Jordan for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%. NBA players have the best straight line to representing their image, on a marketing scale, and so it's I enjoyed the historical aspect of this, and hopefully I didn't go back and fact check any of this shit.
Oh
But,
no, I should, because of that damn Bohemian Rhapsody movie and the bullshit they came up with.
right.
But I feel comfortable with a lot of the facts parts, like the things that you kind of have to take with a grain of salt are all the private moments that are probably, not true, like the speeches and the things that were said in those conversations. But I think probably the facts about, the whole Melvin Turpin thing checked out, but the facts about, the shoes, them paying the fines, I feel like I believe that. I'll Google
Sure.
it, but
Yeah.
it feels accurate.
Yeah, it's a film that you're like, okay, yeah, I can see that happening. Or yeah, this is cool. I like this. These people are funny. These people are cool. And you go with it, and that's I really enjoyed that. So I too recommend it. Jeff, did you ever see the Dun Kings
No.
commercial that aired during the Super Bowl?
Definitely not.
Well, Ben Affleck directed it, and it's fucking great. It's pretty amazing. You should. I would watch a film because Matt Damon's in it, Jennifer Lopez is in it. I would watch a movie based on the characters in that commercial.
Yeah. Real quick, I want to go down a couple things. This is from Screen Rant, and it's 7 biggest changes as to what really happened from the film Air. I'm not going to go through them all because one of them is about how long they pursued Mike, but one big one is the $250,000 being the offer. Actually, the real offer was $2.5 million spread over 5 years, so that's big.
In 1984, that's like $1 billion.
It's insane amount of money. There's questions around the input that Mom actually had in the Jordan deal, because they have that scene near the end of the movie where she's on the phone saying he's going to get a cut.
Yeah.
And that I think according to what I'm reading, it sounds like that was actually more Mike, but according to Affleck, he didn't want to focus on the players. He wanted to focus on everyone else around it. The trip to North Carolina probably didn't happen. It's totally, the trip to North Carolina didn't happen. Who convinced him to sign with Nike? Was Sonny Vaccaro, 7 minutes. Yeah, it doesn't matter. But, so maybe I'm wrong. You know what? I take it back. You can't trust anything in a biopic.
Right.
You just can't. And it sucks because, so many people are like, I saw it. I know that Freddie Mercury knew he had AIDS when he was at Live Aid. No, he didn't. Queen broke up. No, they never broke up. But the movie just makes shit up to make it a story. So, and this movie does not appear to be above that.
The biggest farce. So the earliest biopic I can remember watching with any detail is Braveheart.
Yeah.
And that's probably the biggest center of biopics that ever existed because Mel Gibson just kind of made shit up when it came to William Wallace.
It's a good ass movie though.
But it's a good fucking movie. Right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
I get that. But the true story thing.
Right.
Now you gotta go do your own research.
Right. But at the time when Braveheart came out, fucking internet wasn't a thing. It was, but nobody had access
books
to
were.
it. Right. But you had to go fucking flip a page.
You gotta go to the library and shit. No one knows where the library is.
Right. So it's just like, when biopics were made back in the day, we just assumed that they were being told with truth. And not for entertainment value. And now
still do.
Well, I mean, but
I
it's
don't, but I mean,
but
apparently
it's
I do
less.
because I just sat here being like, "Hey, I think that this, I believe it," and then I go and look it up, and half the shit I was believing didn't happen.
Yeah, it's just when a biopic comes out and I watch it, I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. Did that entertain me? Yes. Okay,
I do
cool.
feel the need to go research after, and I wish I had done that with this one, but to its credit, I found the movie so thoroughly entertaining, I didn't need to.
Well, right. There's no really outlandish things here in this film where you're like, oh, that didn't happen. It's entertaining throughout, and so you're just like, after it's done, you're like, oh, I was entertained.
Yeah.
But anyways, what are we watching next week?
You ready to be entertained?
Yeah.
So when I pick basketball movies, my basketball movies star basketball players. So I had Ray Allen's amazing Oscar-worthy performance in He Got
Yeah.
Game. I'm clearly
Yeah.
being sarcastic. So now we go to the big man, the Shaqtus. I can't remember Shaq Diesel. Help me out with some
Shaq
more
Diesel,
nicknames.
yeah.
What was he?
The big Aristotle.
Yes, very good. I appreciate that you remembered one. The man who saved Papa John's Pizza, my favorite pizza. You got to get yourself a Shaq-a-roni. We are not sponsored, but Shaquille O'Neal, Nick Nolte, Ed O'Neill,
Okay.
Mr. Bundy is in this as well as several coaches, Rick Pitino, Bobby Knight make an appearance, Penny Hardaway. If you were a fan of Shaq in his Orlando days, you probably know who Penny Hardaway is. We're going to watch Blue Chips. It was from 1984, and it was directed by William Friedkin, who also directed Killer Joe, but most notably directed the original Exorcist as well.
Bro, this is on Paramount Plus. Let's go.
Yeah, buddy.
I don't
So-
got to illegitimate means
Yeah,
.com
you don't have
this
to-
shit.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to this because actually, it's probably not going to be any good, but I'm still looking forward to it.
I've never seen it, so I'm down
I've
for
never
whatever
seen it
once.
either. But if anybody's going to not be able to act, it's Shaq. And I love, let me say this, as much as I can't stand Michael Jordan, I fucking love Shaquille O'Neal. He's like the complete opposite of Michael Jordan to me. Anyway,
he was a big star in the 90s.
how do you feel about Shaq? You like Shaq, right?
Yeah, I like Shaq.
Yeah,
I mean,
don't make me
one of the
quit
greatest
this
Lakers of all
podcast.
time. But no, I mean, he was everywhere in the 90s.
Yep.
Film, basketball, TV.
Shaq
I mean,
month coming soon. We're gonna watch Kazam, fucking Steel.
Steel.
I think that was it. And
Yeah,
Blue
that might
Chip.
have been it.
It's a 3-week month.
But anyways, well, plug the music before we get out of here. And once again, we want to thank the band No Shows from New York with their song Getaway for allowing us to use their music here on our podcast. And if you want to support the podcast, you can follow us on all your favorite social media platforms at Movie Draft House, or on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, right here on YouTube where you're watching us. Give us a like, follow, and hit the subscribe button when it pops up so you don't miss any future content here on our podcast. If you want to follow Jeff on Twitter, and you tell him, "Hey Jeff, how
didn't prepare.
How did Michael Jordan hurt you? Really?"
He did. He beat my team in the finals. You don't have to. Anyway.
You can hit him up at Podcast by Jeff.
And if you want to get in touch with Mark and try to figure out if he's a fair weather Lakers fan or not, you can do so on Twitter at I Heard You Liked.
I'm not, and I can prove it because I bought a what's his name? Fuck, it's in my closet.
Tony Kukoc. Did he ever
No.
play there? No, that was the Bulls.
No,
I can't wait. A Vlade Divac jersey. You got a Vlade Divac jersey?
no, it was in like it was 2011, and it was the Lakers had just come off of like signing Dwight Howard and Steve Nash, and
Bet your
the
hopes were high.
oh yeah, but then they
Yeah.
both got injured because they were old and broken, and then Kobe that season tore his Achilles, and so the Lakers were left with a bunch of scrubs, and my mom, of all people, decided for my birthday she was going to buy me a Lakers jersey. And she bought me Nick, what the fuck is his last name? Worst Lakers ever. I was home Googling.
Was it Nick Anderson? Nick Anderson was a Laker at some point,
No,
wasn't he?
top 10 all-time worst Lakers. It's got to be
Del
him.
Curry?
No, it's Smush Parker. No, it wasn't him. Anyways, this motherfucker, Nick.
I need to know who it is.
I'm trying to get his last name.
Laker Nick.
Laker Nick.
Laker Nick. Nick Young?
Yes, Nick Young.
Okay.
He was.
Trust me, I know how to Google, buddy.
She gets me this jersey, and it's Nick Young, and I'm like, the fuck. And I'm like, I'm like, why did you give me this? Where did you get this Nick Young
Where do
jersey
you
to begin
find
with?
a Nick Young jersey?
Right. And so it come to find out, she special fucking ordered it. Paid like $200.
Oh, was it
for
one
this-
of the ones with like the actual stitched on?
Yes,
like the
yes.
nice ones.
And that's why I haven't gotten rid of it, because it's an actual jersey. And if I ever get the chance, I'll have Nick Young. I should
One
just
day
mail
I'll
it
come
to him.
over and I'll wear my Ray Allen Sonics jersey, the nice stitched one, and you can wear your Young jersey.
I have a.
We can debate who's the better player.
I have a Steve Nash original too, but
I have. Well, my only stitched jersey is my Ray Allen one, but I have the like iron-on ones for Detlef Schrempf and Gary Payton. I was a big Detlef Schrempf guy. I wish I had a Sam Perkins one. I love Sam Perkins. Anyways,
so yeah, don't forget to follow us on all the social media, get all your stuff, do the like, follow, subscribe thing, and join us next week as we watch Blue Chips.
Blue Chips. Yeah, I'm
Question
excited.
mark.
Mark's excited.
And we'll catch you
Watch
next
it.
time.
All right, bye.